look at Eugene Cannabis TV. You got DanK here, and we've got a special guest. Our friend Stoned Phillips is with us today. And Stoned Phillips is working on legalization, like so many of us are, a real advocate. And it's always good to see a fellow activist, and Stoned Phillips is an inspiration to us all. So,
well, thank you, DanK.
You bet. I really appreciate what you're doing.
You're very inspiring as well, may I say.
All right. And so Stoned Phillips has picked up some of the free publications that are around and available at different locations. And so there's a few things in each one there that he wanted to talk about and point out to you. But it's a great place for education. So anyway, so Stoned Phillips, tell us about what you're doing and why.
Basically, I'm a student at the University of Oregon, and I have a lot of fun liberally disseminating marijuana-related propaganda on university campus and off university campus. I have compiled quite a few free publications that are in the area, specifically for Oregon, the West Coast, and also some national publications as well. This first publication here is it's called Freedom Leaf. It's been around for quite some time. It's funded by Normal, SSDP, and Women Grow. That's a new organization, by the way, and that's the article I wanted to talk about, is this new organization called Women Grow, and it's some cannabis capitalist women who are doing a great job organizing a cannabis activist group slash business, I don't know, organization, I guess you could call it. They support groups like the Minority Cannabis Business Association that work on behalf of underrepresented industry constituencies. I thought that was very fascinating. Also, some interesting things is they challenge industry groups to include underrepresented constituencies by awarding scholarships to 5% of conference attendees and ensuring that at least a third of the speakers are from diverse backgrounds. So I thought that was pretty cool. Also, here's another edition of Freedom Leaf. This is the Christmas edition from 2014. And there's a very fascinating article from a female physician, and her name is Dr. Gennister Wilson King, and she talks about cannabis being real medicine, and she says the first documented use of medical marijuana is by the ancient Chinese. They used it to treat gout, malaria, and gas pains. Fascinating. Now, the very fascinating quote that she has here, or citation I should say, is she talks about Dr. William O'Shaughnessy, an Irish physician and professor of chemistry at the Medical College of Calcutta, and he was instrumental in introducing Great Britain and the United States to the medical uses of cannabis. In the late 1800s, cannabis was the most prescribed medicine by doctors in America. In fact, cannabis was used medicinally in this country until the 1930s. Very fascinating. Now, yes.
Yeah, our friend Paul Stanford has quite a collection of cannabis medicinal bottles from back in the era. Fascinating.
Yeah. This this William O'Shaughnessy, I remember that name from this publication from the Zombie Apocalypse Club. It's the Zombie Apocalypse Plan. It's the official publication for the Zombie Apocalypse Club. These guys have an article here called Kiss Me, I'm Irish, and they mention William O'Shaughnessy traveling from Ireland to India in the mid-1800s to study outbreaks of the rabies virus. Now, if you remember in the zombie movie World War Z, then all the zombies were infected by rabies, and apparently this Irish doctor, William O'Shaughnessy, actually cured the rabies virus by using cannabis tinctures and also just the burnt smoke to relax the esophageal muscles of the rabies-infected victims, because the primary side effect, I guess you could say, of having the rabies virus is hydrophobia, or a fear of water. And the rabies virus actually attaches itself to the victim's spinal column and actually gains control of the esophageal muscles. So when the victim tries to drink and rehydrate themselves, which is the first step to recovery from any virus or infection or cold, flu, then the rabies virus actually makes the esophageal muscles contract. And it's very painful, and so the person with the rabies infection can't ever rehydrate, and then they get dehydrated, which leads to hallucinations and fits of scratching and biting. So the cannabis actually relaxes the esophageal muscles, which allows for rehydration, and eventually the person can be cured. And this Irish doctor in the 1800s discovered this. So you got cannabis in the 1800s curing rabies, which kills millions of people to this day in India and other countries. Also, it cures malaria, dysentery, a whole myriad of diseases and infections are actually cured by cannabis. So I thought that was pretty amazing. And so that's how the whole cannabis thing wraps into the zombie thing. So I thought that was kind of clever. Zap number 1, pretty cool. Then I also have the standard issue for any Oregon cannabis activist is the Oregon Cannabis Connection. It's a really great publication.
Published out of Medford.
Yes, by I think his name is Keith Manzer.
Yeah, they've been a sponsor of the Hemp Fest for 4 years, 5 years.
Excellent publication. This is the August issue, and it talks about a cannabisman, Brent Kenyon, who actually, I believe he grows for the Southern Oregon Alternative.
He owns
owns it. I'm sorry, owns it. Yeah, this is a great clinic. I've been in here. The people are very, very friendly, and hats off to them. So it's very, very, very good reading. Really fascinating niche market magazine, in my opinion, is Edibles List. It's all about edible cannabis. It covers California, Colorado, Oregon, and Washington. And in the publication, it's segmented by state. I'll get a picture here of a, let's see, where's that? Yeah, see, there's California. And then they have one for Colorado and Washington and Oregon as well. Very interesting article in here about, now, DanK, isn't there a organization called POW 420?
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that, if you don't mind.
POW420.org. Yeah.
.org.
Yeah, they communicate with prisoners that are incarcerated over cannabis issues, and give them support and keep supporting them. And great organization. And check out the website, POW420.org.
Now, are there some veterans involved with that group?
I don't know. I don't know that much about the group itself. I just heard of them for the first time this last year, and they were going to come to the Hemp Fest. And as I look back on it, I don't remember ever hearing from them. They were going to come, and but I don't know whether they're or not. I was too busy running Hemp Fest.
Give us a call, POW420.
Yeah.
So I think of an organization like that. I saw another organization that was very interesting. It's called, I don't know if you can see this, Weed for Warriors Project. And it's helping veterans connect with cannabis. And their mission statement here is, our mission is to help veterans heal through cannabis, fellowship, and community projects. We are trying to make an effort to put an end to the 22+ veteran suicides that happen each and every day. And I've actually met a veteran recently in the past weeks who had a story, a testimony, I should say, about the benefits of cannabis and how cannabis saved his life. And if I could get that gentleman to come on to the show.
Oh man, that'd be great.
He has quite a tale to tell, quite a testimony to deliver.
Yeah, that's right. And we encourage people to come on the show and tell their story. That's exactly what this show is all about. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope he would come on.
Yeah, I'll try to get in touch with him. And he's a real nice gentleman. I have another magazine here. It's MG. It's for the cannabis professional. and this is the high gloss fancy cannabis magazine. It's real nice.
I haven't seen that one.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
this one it's a hard one to get, but I managed to get my hands on it, and I've been disseminating this liberally as well to the student populace. And there's a great little article in here about a presidential candidate who I like, who is Rand Paul. He's all about legalization and defunding the DEA when they try to bust medical marijuana patients and medical marijuana growers. And he's played an intricate part in the bill that actually defunds the DEA. So they don't get paid for busting people, so they have no incentive to bust medical patients, which I think is really awesome.
Take their money away from them, so they can't operate.
And it says here that Rand Paul's getting high marks from the Marijuana Policy Project. 16 Republicans and 6 Democrats in all were evaluated, and no one's surprised the curly-headed senator from Kentucky, Rand Paul, leads the field with an impressive A+ grade. So, yeah, that should tell you something. Also, he's the first presidential candidate to actually go to a cannabis business conference. Yeah, he did that a few months ago. So that's a first. A lot of firsts. Kentucky also, I think, grows the 3rd largest amount of marijuana in America too, by the way. So, also there's another story here about growing up cannabis, and it's about 4 young people who created a social media website, for cannabis culture, and they called themselves Mass Roots.
Oh.
And so the reason why I was so interested about this is I myself try to participate in the peripheral cannabis industry, which is totally legal, hence the publications. I encourage my fellow students to contact any one of these fine publications and ask them, hey, do you need a writer? Do you need a journalist? Do you need a photographer? Do you need a film editor? Do you need a social media intern? These are all peripheral jobs, so they're totally legal. So, don't be scared. I'm not. So these 4 young individuals, savvy young individuals, they created a social media website called Mass Roots, and I'll read you a little bit about it.
We've only got 2 minutes left.
Oh, yeah. From a $50,000 initial seed round of investment just a little over a year and a half ago to begin building the social media hub of the cannabis community, to being abruptly kicked out of the Apple App Store and then miraculously barging their way back in, Mass Roots has grown their user base to close to 400,000 on their journey to connect cannabis users worldwide. Oh, and they IPO'd on NASDAQ in April under the symbol MSRT. So they're actually, you can actually invest in their company.
So that's some examples of what's going on with the publications that are available at dispensaries and clinics and around. Pick up some of these magazines and educate yourself. We're going to be right back with the second half of the show, so thank you so much, Stoned Phillips.
I'm a doctor.
I'm a lawyer.
I'm a journalist.
I'm a student.
I'm a teacher.
I'm a representative.
I have cancer.
The outdated laws of prohibition are more dangerous than the plant itself.
I lost my scholarship.
I was fired.
20 million arrests since 1965. This is getting ridiculous.
Our prisons are overcrowded with non-violent offenders.
We have the opportunity to change.
This is costing our country billions of dollars.
Making my family and I fight in a courtroom is difficult enough when I'm already fighting through chemotherapy.
There's no reason to be scared by tradition anymore.
We can stop this.
We can stop this.
We are the American people,
We can stop this.
and you have our support.
We're old,
Young.
straight.
Gay.
We're every race and nationality.
And we're not going to give up.
You can tax it.
You can regulate it.
Apply age restrictions.
You can create millions of new jobs.
We can save our economy.
President Obama?
It's time for legalization.
Legalization.
Yes.
We.
Can.
This has been a public service announcement.
Welcome to the second half of the Eugene Cannabis TV show. We got our friend Reverend Will with us again today, and got some great words for us. And we're going to talk about some the Portland Hempstalk coming up, and also Salem City Club event tomorrow. Not tomorrow, September 11th. So anyway, thanks for Reverend Will for coming in.
Yeah, Portland Hempstalk, I just want to share. I'm supporting you here. I want this to happen. I'm glad that you got it going on, Paul. You know, that's awesome. I know that you have some things here that they were working on. And
Hempstalk was denied. The city of Portland denied them having an event there because he said that that they had let cannabis use happen. In fact, he said it says Hempstalk organizers not only turned a blind eye to rampant drug use at the event, but even encouraged marijuana consumption just outside the gates of the event. But anyway, they came back with a lot of supporters, and they overcame the denial. The Hempstalk supporters argued that the city was holding them to a different standard than other alcohol-fueled events, such as the Waterfront Blues Festival, that also takes place at the same location. Locals noted that marijuana smoking can be found at almost any large gathering in Portland, and at least Hempstalk would have no problems with underage consumption or overconsumption of alcohol, since it would be not be available at the event. But so this is what we basically had the same trouble we had in Hempfest this year in Eugene. The city said they're going to deny us our permit next year because I personally allowed marijuana smoking to go on at the event. So it's going to be an interesting battle. But anyway, Portland won theirs. So September 27th and 28th is the official dates. Paul Stanford, the organizer, would rather have had it on October 1st, the day that the legal sales start. But anyway, he'll accept the 27th and 28th, so that's when it'll be there. So hempstalk.org is the website.
Well, see, this is one of the things that we've always had to deal with. You know, I mean, we would like to have it on in October so that we can, you know, enjoy the fact that we can actually go into places and buy it. It's one of the many absurdities in this process where, you know, here we have it in June where it's legal, supposedly, and yet there's nowhere to buy it, and you're not supposed to sell it, and so how are you supposed to get it? How are you supposed to get the clones? How are you supposed to do any of this stuff? How are you supposed to do research when your government's lying to the people about why it's not allowing research to be done? To me, that's a basic crime, folks, when our government stands in the way because they are supported and lobbied by people to keep it illegal. Now, when the government has a, what do you call it when you get the, oh shoot, I'm sorry, I'll go with this instead. You know, right here is the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. I just wanted to take a moment and read it. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or of the right of people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. That's what I'd really like to see us do, is this redress of grievances. I'm sure that most of us who smoke or who use medibles or who use oil to help ourselves be more physically able to survive all the other crap that we have to deal with by our government, and that in this process we are prohibited in stating the truth, which is that the government has not been accountable for itself in the lies that they have told about marijuana from the very beginning. For instance, would be, it's not a medicine. Okay? If it's not a medicine and yet it's legal as a medicine, isn't that a conflict of interest? And one or the other should be resolved? Because to me, if you're helping children with epilepsy, if you're helping people with cancer, if you're helping people with fibromyalgia, if you're helping people with muscular sclerosis, all of these different things we have been able to help, if nothing else, just by allowing the people to be able to eat and to keep the food down that they're eating so that they have the energy they need so that they can rebuild themselves. I mean, that's as simple as it gets, but what happens with us is we have to have it recommended. We cannot have it prescribed. The doctors are afraid to prescribe it because the federal government is still enforcing this lie that there's no medical benefit. Now, I know that we've got some things in Congress that are going on that are trying to address this, thanks to Rand Paul and others who are trying to federally get them to own the lies that they have told for so long. But once you tell lies for so long, you kind of forget they were lies in the first place. So I want to say congratulations to Paul and them for actually fighting and being able to get the Hempstalk happening at Waterfront Park. Like they've said, you know, the Blues Festival goes on, people drink and smoke there, and yet, you know, they're not held accountable in a way that says, if we find one person smoking, we're going to shut you down. You know, I mean, it's ridiculous, folks. You know, and the whole thing is now we're going to have people being able to go into our medical dispensaries and get herb. I'm not one of the people who's real happy about that because the people who are growing for us have no way of being held accountable for their actions. My understanding when we first started this was that the people of the state of Oregon stated that they would like to help us be able to get our medicine, and that's why it was going through the state, so it could be controlled and we would be able to make sure that people were getting their medicine. Folks, that's not happening. I mean, they're tracking us. That's one thing that they're doing, and that's what they're getting paid for. But as far as helping us, I mean, my own grower at this point in time has had problems with clonage, and so therefore he is not able to come through like he's supposed to. And there's really nowhere for us to go to be supported in this process so that we can continue to get our medication. For me, it wouldn't be so bad if it were just me, but because my grower had been doing a good job, I had turned 2 of my family onto him so that he could help them as well. Considering the fact that he had this clonage problem, he's not been able to help any of us, and with no resources available to go to be able to get from the supply that should be there according to what was supposedly established by the people of the state with the state, although the state's going, well, we don't want to have anything to do with marijuana. Well, if you don't want to have anything to do with it, why are you trying to control it? Oh yeah, money. Money, that's why. When are you going to start caring about us as a people? That's always been my question. You are not part of the Church of Caring because you don't care about us. You care about money, you care about control, you care about getting your kickbacks from the pharmaceutical companies and others, oil industry, for instance. Now, understand, we have the benefits available to us to be able to live a long and healthy life. We would be able to live longer and healthier if we could do the research that's needed, just like in Israel, where they're working with PTSD. Over here, we're told, oh no, that has to do with up here, therefore we're not going to help you. Well, you did the same thing with people who used to be in institutions. You've kicked them all out in the street, and then you blame them for not being able to take care of themselves. So for myself, my story is very simple. I have had PTSD going on in my life since I was 5 years old, and that doesn't mean that I've had a bad family. It just means that my family didn't listen to me, nor did they have answers to the questions that I kept putting out from the age of 5. Now, in that process of rejection, I still get rejected. I mean, I have this wonderful product that's going to help us industrially and otherwise to be able to create industries that can be beneficial, and yet we have to fight in order to get the recognition so that we can do these things. Research, if we were really into the research of these things, there are so many cannabidiol aspects to marijuana and other benefits from this that we haven't even been able to touch on because we've been so restricted for 40, 50 years. You know, so understand, folks, I know that you don't understand what we're going through, but understand this, that we have a medicine and we have an industrial product that can help put the state of Oregon upright and make a difference. The thing is that if you as a people don't see the benefits that we can put out there because you're really not interested because it doesn't have anything to do with you, then you're part of the governmental agency that really doesn't care. You care about your family maybe, but other people's families are not as important. If you really want to understand God's word, it was to take care of the earth and all of its inhabitants, everything that's on this earth. And if you're not doing that service, well, we probably won't be here a whole lot longer, and that to me is a real drag on our children and grandchildren. So I just know that I love people and that without marijuana, my PTSD, because I used to be told how angry I was all the time. And if it weren't for herb, then you people would have really seen some anger, because it's what's really helped me to stay in check my whole life and to be able to talk to you as decent human beings, because I don't really think you are if you don't care. And right now I don't see it. So,
take your point. Yep. Real quick one now in Salem, the Salem City Club on Friday, September 11th, 2015. We're going to be the subject is marijuana. It's legal. Now what? So the Chief of Police of City of Salem and Margot Lucas, who's a Salem dispensary owner, is going to be on that panel. So that'll be interesting. So thanks so much, Reverend Will, for coming in tonight, and we're out of here. We'll see you next week.